rain, wind, snow melt as well. That's the other aspect to this. So that will create flooding. There are 13 flood warnings out at the moment, most of those in the southwest and the northwest, and a little bit into Yorkshire as well, which I believe is, I see on social media, the Todman and sirens going off warning about flooding potential. So, Bert's been looked at now for the last, well, certainly from my point of view, for the last week. So we knew it was coming. I hope and I think many people have heeded the warnings.
Now, 2 men have died and thousands have been left without power as Storm Bert continues to sweep across the UK. A man in his 60s was killed after a tree fell on a car on the A34 near Winchester, just hours after a man was killed after a car crashed into a wall in Yorkshire. Nearly 9,000 homes across the UK are without power, with 60,000 homes without power in Ireland. With weather warnings still in place until Sunday, meteorologist Jim Dale is here to give us the latest. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Henry. Good to speak to you again.
Good to speak to you. I mean, I'm okay. I mean, sitting here in the centre of London, not too much apart from a bit of wind, but much worse for people around the country.
Yeah, further north, particularly in out west. Many faces of good old Bert, bad Bert, I could call him, because he really is putting stuff out there. Now, at the moment, the centre of Bert is around about 800 miles to the west of Scotland, so it's not even reached us yet in terms of the centre of the low. That will skirt to the north of Scotland in the next couple of days. The facets of Bert are as follows. So the snow, obviously, this morning particularly, it's now more or less faded. It's just on the tops of the highlands as we speak. So there'll be no more. Snow is in the near past and won't return yet. However, the rain and the wind are both causing a little bit of havoc out there. I say a little bit. There's obviously some localized flooding. This is going to continue, to be honest with you. So you're going to step in and step out of the rain. The warm front's gone through. That's why it's gone milder for many of us now at this moment in time. But the rain will come in terms of further bursts, further for a prolonged rain for many of us, and the winds as well. And I think, to be honest with you, it's not out there yet, but Monday, as far as the winds are concerned, will become even stronger over Scotland in particular, as that low tracks, as Bert tracks to the north of Scotland. So it's far from over at this moment in time. So
there's an awful lot going on, Jim. I mean, this is why I suppose it's been called a multi-hazard storm.
Yeah, really, absolutely the case. I mean, it's the time of year when you get this sort of stuff. You wouldn't, if this is a summer event, obviously you wouldn't get the snow. But rain, wind, snow melt as well. That's the other aspect to this. So that will create flooding. There are 13 flood warnings out at the moment, most of those in the southwest and the northwest, and a little bit into Yorkshire as well, which I believe is, I see on social media, the Todman and sirens going off warning about flooding potential. So, Bert's been looked at now for the last, well, certainly from my point of view, for the last week. So we knew it was coming. I hope and I think many people have heeded the warnings. It's good that you do that. They're there for a reason, but I think these warnings will continue tomorrow. Indeed they will. And I think we'll pick it up again on Monday with those wind warnings, particularly, as I say, further north you go, particularly Scotland. So it really is a bit of a beast.
Yeah, and Jim, sorry, let's interview. How much better are we, people like you, getting at predicting with greater accuracy and timing what is going to happen and where?
Great question, Henry. Great question. And I'll tell you why that's a great question, because it's actually getting more difficult because of climate change. I was really interested to listen to your previous two guests in terms of the ramifications of that, the economic side of things and what have you. Yeah. What's happening now is we're sort of going into new territory. I find these things the models that we look at have got better, make that absolutely clear. But what they haven't got better at is anticipating what's happened with climate change in terms of ocean temperatures, sea temperatures, atmospheric temperatures, how much water can be held in the atmosphere, this sort of stuff. So although they're very good, they're not the complete picture. You definitely need a human at the end of it trying to sort of pick your way through it. So I would suggest to you that we've probably taken in this last few years, taken a leg backwards rather than a leg forward in terms of anticipating what will go on. And you don't have to look very far in terms of the likes of Valencia and other places in the last year or two that have really, really come a cropper in catastrophic ways. Those sort of events sometimes they can only be seen hours before they happen, and sometimes not even that. So we're in a new world, Henry, and those that are listening, paying attention to what's going on, need to, and particularly on the economic side, in terms of the direction of travel that we need to take in order that we, in the UK anyway, push forward with a green agenda so that we can both mitigate our part of the world. We share it with everybody else. So we've got to do our bit. That's the whole point there. But we need an economic point of view to do that, to be ahead of the curve, to help less richer countries to get to where they need to get to. But this is going to be a fight. It's really going to be a fight going forward in terms of climate change and the effects of it. And although Bert may not be necessarily a climate-induced event, we'll see. It's not my job to classify these things necessarily. But I think there's a damn lot more to come.
Yeah.
Join the dot.
On that worrying note, Jim Dale, thank you very much as ever. Jim's a meteorologist and he's the founder of British Weather Services.